All right, friends, and we're back for another video. This is going to be a fun one and a quick one. Recently, I came into a new guitar, and then I took that new guitar and made it into a newer guitar, and kind of completely changed the whole thing, and I just wanted to share that with you. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, which is at GearStuffandThings, you might have seen a clip of this already. If you don't, then you didn't. But recently, I procured a Fender Tom DeLonge Strat, which is a fairly expensive, item from the fine folks over at Fender. And I know I've been mean to the F word lately, but I wanted to make something that I actually like out of one of the guitars. So I've been eyeballing the Tom DeLonges for a while because they're kind of what I'm after right now as far as the aesthetic and setup. I'm really into Strats right now, whether that's just the shape or, the overall just vibe and aesthetic of a Strat. I'm digging that right now. But I also love single humbucker guitars, and I already had built a Strat, which was in another video, where I have a single Fishman Fluence Modern, and wanted to do a version of that same guitar, kind of, that was in the passive world, but also kind of equal in output and clarity, and also different in its overall aesthetic and tone. So I got the Tom DeLonge, as you'll see here, and it came stock. Now, I was looking for one of these used. I got lucky enough to find one new, 50% off. So normally they're about $1,200. I got this one for $650, free shipping. Fantastic deal. These are still readily available online. There'll be affiliate links below if you want to go to Zounds to find them. They're actually a little less than $1,200 right now, so a good time to snag one if you're actually interested in the Tom DeLonge Strat. That being said, you can probably find some pretty solid deals on them if you search on Reverb. That's where I found one brand new. It said it was open box, but when I got it, it certainly wasn't open box. It was still stapled shut. Everything was still on it. It had never been opened. So I lucked out on that one. Brand new guitar. I immediately started torturing it. So before we get to the aftermath of that, which is this guitar that you're seeing here on this camera as well as here, let's hear and see what the Tom DeLonge sounded like before these modifications. Now that you've seen and heard the Tom DeLonge prior to the changes, let's take a moment to talk about the changes I made to the guitar, and then we're going to hear this guitar before we wrap the video. So, first and foremost, I changed the neck. I took off the standard scale 25.5 neck that came on the Tom DeLonge, and I replaced it with a 27-inch scale subsonic neck from Fender. It was a simple process. I literally took the other one off, put this one on. There was a slight adjustment that needed to be made, so I put just a shim under there, put the neck back on. Everything was in business, set up and intonated very quickly. I changed the tuning keys to be the much more stable and useful hip-shot open gear locking tuning keys. It makes changing strings a lot more of a breeze, and it also adds a bit of tuning stability, which is fantastic. This is a Graphtec nut that was upgraded from the plastic one that was over on the Tom DeLonge. New baritone neck, maple fretboard as opposed to the rosewood, and it's just a slightly different aesthetic overall. In addition to that change, you will see here that I've changed the pick guard from the white perloid to a tortoiseshell type of thing, which I think is beautiful. It really makes the Daphne blue pop, or Sonic blue, however you want to describe it. Maybe they're two different colors. I'm not great with this stuff. It just makes things pop a bit. It has a nice character, feels a bit more vintage. It also kind of reminds me of Weezer for some reason, and I'm not sure why that is. In the bridge, we have a Mojo-Tone Magnum 44, which is a high output pickup that Mojo-Tone makes. I had heard this pickup on a He Is Legend record, and heard Bo Burchell, who mixed that record, talk very highly of this pickup, enough so that he even changed his pickups and his signature model guitars to these just because they do a thing that he thought tonally sounded amazing. And when I heard that record and heard that it was mostly just the pickups that actually made the guitar tone, I wanted to try one and get out there, and I found one that was open box, and it was less than $100, so that's cool. I sold the Invader that was in here for about $75, so I didn't spend too much money in difference. Other than that, it's the same wiring configuration. Other than it has a push-pull now to go from humbucker to single coil, which it didn't have previously with the Invader. I kept the bridge the same, of course, but I do plan to change that to a hip shot too, just for consistency and aesthetic sake. I have a hip shot on the other guitar. I want a hip shot on this one. But for right now, this works great, and the strings are new, so I don't want to change the bridge until I change the strings next. So let's hear this guitar, and then I'll come back and give you my final thoughts. All right, so we're back, and that was the modified Tom DeLonge. The tonal differences are pretty stark, in my opinion. I find this to be a much brighter, more aggressive setup than the Invader, which was a little more darker and dense. That's just how I hear it. That's my perspective, which is subjective. You may hear it completely different and completely disagree with me. And here's the part where we may disagree. I don't think the Invader is the best sounding pickup out there. I don't think it's a very good pickup as far as dynamics go. I think it's a one-trick pony in that it's kind of just designed to be a bit of a jackhammer to your guitar tone, really slamming the front of your amp. I don't really jive with the Invader. I hadn't even played one since I was 19. I had one on a guitar back then, and I really liked it because it was just super loud and over the top. But as I got further into playing guitar, I got further and further away from high output stuff and leaned more into medium output stuff, with using the GFS Stream 180 as my primary pickup of choice for the past decade. And then only recently, in the past few years, switching to the Fishman stuff, which I really love. It's just a different flavor and a different experience, and it changes my playing and my perspective of tones and things. So it's just a tool. I look at all of this as tools. The various parts and the sum of all those parts are just tools to make music and have an additional color in your palette. And I think that's the point of the video overall, is that you can make some slight modifications or major modifications to something you already have, or something that's inexpensive, and make it into something completely new and exciting that really inspires you to create in a different way. For full transparency, this neck was $329. My goal is to flip the neck that came off of it and possibly just pay myself back for these things. All of this to say is you can take something that's pre-existing and make slight modifications to it to really turn it into something else. Just changing the pickups alone in a guitar can really shift the entire tonal character of that instrument, or really bring to the surface the inherent tonal quality of that instrument. I have basically a copy of this guitar that's also a 27-inch Fender Subsonic, but on a red body with an active setup in it. And the entire intention here was to have something with a passive setup with the same scale, same kind of setup, same vibe, but just a different taste, a different color, and a different thing to add some real unique character to recordings and live performances, and just find something that sits in the mix slightly different. And to my ear, the Magnum 44 really pops through, does a great job of creating unique tonal quality in a dense mix that is tuned low with active stuff as well. Now, I didn't get into that layering portion of things on this video. If that's something you'd like to see, I'd be happy to do a nice mix video. Again, I haven't done one in a while, and I can show you all the various layers of guitars versus pickups in the same tuning and how mixing those things as EQ choices. So if you have a pickup that may be a little bit more bright, a pickup that's a little more dense and bass forward, or something that's a little more mid forward, you can use those to create your guitar tone in a mix rather than just one pickup. So there are ways to get a lot of use out of having something that's slightly different, especially in the recording world. Either way, this has been a fun one, a quick little video. Just wanted to kind of put it out there that you can take something, make a few changes, and have something completely brand new, something that will maybe inspire you to create differently, or to take your already comfortable idiosyncratic aspects of your playing and apply those to an instrument that sounds and feels different and is tuned different. Hopefully this is something that's inspiring to you to try some differences on your end, or maybe it's just a video you watch to kill time, and I'm okay with that too. I wanted to make a quick little last minute adjustment here to the video, in that I forgot to mention that Randy from Randy's Broncos and Guitars helped me with some of the wiring on the Strat today. I'm not great with soldering because I have an involuntary tremor. You might have noticed it in the video. My hands shake a bit. Not as dramatic as this, of course, but yeah, I was having trouble with that, so I went to him and he helped me with doing the soldering and getting everything put back together. Also got a chance to check out everything he's got going on over for his channel, and his woodworking shop is incredible. The guitars he's making and working on right now are mind-blowing. Definitely go check out his stuff. The links will be in the description. Either way, it's been a blast hanging out with you, and got another video coming up very soon, and can't wait to share that one with you. Cheers.